Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Waldron and welcome to this new inbox review. We're going to be taking a look at Academy's new offering, a whole brand spanking new tool for 2023. It is an A-10 Thunderbolt. It's in 1/48 scale. Does look like a really cool kit. I've only just done the Hobby Boss inbox review. That was a very good contender. A little bit old, whereas this one is a new tool for 2023. So let's open it up and take a look. Now it is coming in at around about the £39.99 mark, which isn't far off the Hobby Boss. So price isn't that far off. So let's take a look. This is the first part, which is quite interesting, right? This is, the construction is very sort of different to the Hobby Boss 1/48 scale, and this is where it kind of really sort of starts. It is, we have these, we're kind of seeing it more and more in scale modeling, where manufacturers are going off and instead of doing your traditional two molds coming together, inject it with styrene plastic, we're kind of having this kind of like multiple molds coming together to create things like this. This is our real part of the fuselage, and it is basically totally closed off as well. What you have with these kind of molds is you'll find that yes, there is like a join line sort of running down. Now we do have, hopefully as you can see there, you can just see that join line running all the way down the spine there, and then you got one running all the way along there. I must admit, the one here and here is hardly noticeable. You could get away with it, but yes, the top one you're going to want to do a little bit of, say, filing, sanding, just to kind of smooth that off, which isn't so hard if it wasn't for the fact that we've got this gorgeous surface detail. If we kind of try and look close, we have all this lovely raised rivets where they're due, and there's lots of it, as well as very crisp recessed panel lines as well. So yes, you've got to take care of that join line just there, which isn't hard, but the problem's going to be is all this very fine raised rivet work that's along there. I do believe in my Apache video we did go over on how to make your own raised rivets, so that's probably a good one to go check out. But yes, looks so nice. Then this is even cooler as well. We've got our engine section just here. Again, we've got this whole one piece thing. I did see, yes, we've got our join line is along here, which actually there's not major detail where that join line is, so that should be quite easy to take care of. But again, yes, lovely recessed panel lines, raised rivets again, looking so nice, and oh, so gorgeous inside there. You will see at the back here, you will see a little bit inside there, so for that to be so nice and gorgeously smooth is so nice to have a scale model. You've got nothing to do in there except for spray it up all nice. So yeah, very impressed so far with that. Moving along, we have a couple of bits and bobs to get through. Right, I haven't seen how many weapons we've got with this kit, but you want a lot, to be fair, because we've got lots of options. Right. Looks like we've got two duplicate sprues just here, so whatever's on here is a duplicate. So we look like we have what seems to be like two Mavericks by the looks of it. Looks like we have 2, 3, 4 bombs, 2 sidewinders, and 2, 3, 4 bombs. I do believe you get quite a bit more weapons and firepower in the Hobby Boss one, but yes, the detail on these weapons are looking good. Our air intakes and the fans, our rockets as well, we've got multiple choice going on here. Again, very sort of well detailed with that. Some more fans as well. The wheels looking very sharp and crisp. That's two halves to make one. Very cool as well. Pilots, I must say, I am missing the days where you kind of always seem to have pilots with kits, and they seem to not be doing it so often. So it is really good to see pilots, and as you can see, you know, all sorts of kind of webbing going on there. Where's his head? we got options here. We've got a head just here, which we can just make out eyes, mouth, nose, but we've also got visor down as well, so that is quite cool for them to give us a option. Very, very nice indeed. So as I say, 2 sprues of them. We also have a few little bits and bobs going on here. Mainly we've got our instrument display panel looking, that is so lovely and crisp. Raised recess detail, cannot grumble with that instrument display panel. Even a bit more detail for our cockpit, again so crisp. A few little bits and bobs we've got. I do believe this is our wheel well for the front landing gear, and you know what, that is a lot of lovely detail inside there. I mean, all sorts of raised rivets and recesses and all sorts of good stuff in there. Really cool detail. We then have the bottom fuselage front nose section, right? Again, same level of lovely detail with raised rivets where they're due, recessed ones and recessed panel lines, looking really good there. Flip this over. Ejector pin marks, I don't think these are going to be a problem at all, so we ain't going to worry about that. Next sprue. Alright, we have 2 screws in this bag. Get this out nicely. First off, let's take a look at the front nose section. Right, so we have our fuselage front nose section again. Lovely detail, as you can see there. Lovely surface detail. I think that's probably going to be one of the big differences with the Hobby Boss and this Academy one. It's you can the surface detail is better. I mean, the Hobby Boss one is still good, but this is still rather nice. A bit more internal detail here as well, with no ejector pin marks. Nice rib work, a few little bits of detail here and there. Pylons, they are looking good surface detail like the rest of the kit. Bit of ejector seat on here, as you can see. Loads of intricate detail with that also. What else we've got? Some more wheels, right? Again, crisp detail there also. We have our cockpit tub, bags and bags of detail with the buttons, all sorts of raised detail going on with that, and recessed areas, right? As you can see, I mean, that is going to make a very sort of well detailed cockpit by the looks of this. I'm seeing a lot of detail for the cockpit. Very impressive. Just checking on any nasty ejector pin marks. Ooh, okay. Just on our pylons just here, you might just be able to see we've got ejector pin marks in places that you wouldn't want them to be. Little bit of a shame, and yes, the rest of these pylons have them as well. That's such a shame. I mean, this was looking, I mean, it's still a damn good kit. I'm not going to completely knock it just for a couple of ejector pin marks, but you know, it's a shame for something such a new mold to still have those kind of schoolboy errors, so to speak. Where's our landing gear bits as well? Have we got? Yes, I'm even seeing, you can just see tiny ejector pin marks on the landing gear as well. Such a shame. Yeah, it was looking such a good kit. I mean, the only thing I can fault is those ejector pin marks now. Apart from that, it is all looking good. So next sprue, we have what looks to be a nice big fat fuel tank, as you can see. Lovely detail, surface detail like the rest of the kit. And we've got some sensors on here and some rockets. Lovely surface detail going along with that. Next set of sprues, oh, we may as well just jump straight into it. We have our canopy. If you could sort of see that, we have, you know, nice crystal clear. Does look like there is, yes, there is a join line going all the way down the middle there, so that's something to you know, sand out, you know, polish up and get just right. Just putting up to the light, maybe slightly a little bit rippled, but looking pretty crystal clear. You shouldn't have any real problems with that. Moving along, our last sprue now. This is where we come in with the wing section. Right, so some pretty big sprues to show off here. Looking at the surface detail, yes, just like the rest of the kit, absolutely gorgeous, cannot grumble. Nice bit of internal detail there for the landing gear area. Top wing section, right, very crisp recessed panel lines, loads of lovely detail. Not sure if these are like flaps or ailerons or something, but again, lovely detail on there. Flip it over. There are a couple of ejector pin marks, but I do believe they're all going to be pretty sort of covered up. Moving along, we have, you know, again, some more sort of like tail section. Again, surface detail, looking, you know, just consistent throughout the kit. Right, there's not going to be certain pieces that aren't consistent. You know, they are all lovely surface detail throughout. Okay, just looking at the back for any ejector pin marks in nasty places. I mean, there are quite a few on this area, if those are going to be visible, because I mean there is a bit of detail in there, so maybe they are. Would be a shame if it is, but yeah, there are all the sprues, leaving us with instructions of some decals. Now with the decals, now this is quite cool. I am seeing this a little bit more often with new builds, is they are throwing in canopy masks, and I do believe you get wheel masks as well with this, so we are getting nice touches like that, so that's a nice little bonus, which I do believe does the, I don't think the Hobby Boss one has that either, so it's a nice little extra there. We then have our decals or decals, depending on what continent you are from, printed in Korea. I do find Academy normally kind of like, I mean their old decals were pretty bad actually, but their newer stuff is definitely improving. So looking at this, we do have the whole decals for all your instrument display panels, which I do believe they will look good if you do decide to go down that route. We have all sorts of stencils, which, you know, trying to look at the small writing, it does look like it is readable. You know, the colors look good, everything seems to be in registry. Nice decals with tigers and all sorts of, you know, teeth. The sort of silver areas as well, that is quite a nice bit of ink going on there for a silver, right? I mean, it's not kind of been done grey or something like that. That does look like a good bit of silver, so that's nice to see as well in the decals. Now instructions, we do have two sets of instructions here. As you can see, we've got a manual 2 which is in colour and better quality paper, and then we have the not so good quality paper in black and white. So we'll start off with this. We do have a lot of colours to choose from. It does sort of show us all the Humbrol, the GSI, Testers, Live Colour, Revell, Vallejo, AK Interactive, loads and loads of colours to pick from, which I do like when they do that. Now it is the fold out instructions. I'm not a big fan, but hey ho. Now it does look like they do cram a lot into one space, right? But I have looked at these earlier, and you know what, it does seem to get you there. You know, it does show you, to give us the color call outs for everything, and if you do sort of follow everything, I mean, I know it's crammed in there, but it does seem to get us there. Maybe in some places it's kind of like a, you know, you might have to play around a bit and sort of work out where everything goes, just because it's so crammed and a little bit hard to see maybe. But as I say, it does seem to get you there in the end. Hopefully you don't have to put the landing gear in at this stage. You want to leave it till the end. Does look like there's a lot going on with our ejector seat and the cockpit area. We've already seen the detail on that. Looks amazing. Looks like we're gonna have a very nice cockpit. Bring your two fuselage halves together, the front nose section, and you're kind of there. Now this area here, just note, you know, there is a 25-gram ballast that you want to put in the front, so don't miss that. We don't want a tail sitter. I mean, just be careful here. I mean, again, I haven't built this, so I don't know what the fit's like, but This area here, I can just imagine the potential for being gaps, for being steps, so you know, do test fit and just be careful there, don't just glue it and throw it in straight away. Going straight in with pylons, wheel well doors in the open position. Doesn't seem to show in the closed position, but normally you can close them if you want to. Then we have all our bits like, say, sort of like ailerons and flaps and all this kind of stuff. Does not look like the tail section is going to have posable parts, but it does look like we can open and close a few things in regards to like the flaps and ailerons and stuff like that. Kind of strange how part way through the build I'm showing you how to build things like weapons and putting the pylons down. They normally leave that till last, but you know, it's probably not a big deal. Moving along, you know, it does show us where masking needs to go, i.e. sort of like for the wheel mask, which is cool, but again it's compressed, so you've got to sort of study these instructions maybe a little bit more. Moving along, we then have the wing section for the opposite side and how that goes together, as well as some more weapons and sensors and how they go together, right? And then you kind of just bring your wing section to your fuselage section. Hopefully we shouldn't have any fit issues. As you can see, it's a little bit different to say the Hobby Boss one with the way it goes together. But fingers crossed, you know, there's no major fit issues. Then we move on to our manual 2, which is in color and better quality paper. So what we could see here is, yes, we bring the rotary gun and the nose section to the rest of our model, as well as the tail section, which again, you know, doesn't seem to be any sort of posable areas on there, seems to be quite static. Then we have fuel tanks and the engine section. I'd have probably put the engine section in maybe a little bit sooner than later than this stage, but yeah, looks like it seems to go together. Good call outs. Don't see any sort of major issues with that, right? And then we've got sort of like the canopy open or closed. We've got sort of like open and closed with the step ladder and all sorts of little bits and bobs on there. And we do have the call outs for the canopy mask, which is rather cool. So then we move on to the stencils and the markings. Does look quite clear where all the stencils are going, you know, top, bottom, port, starboard. Nice how they kind of show us the sort of non-slip coated areas. Nice little note here about sometimes they can be dark, which is cool. I do like how they go off and they give you actual pictures of the actual aircraft and sort of like details to show there as well. Then we move along with the actual markings now, which we have 4 nice markings to choose from. Admittedly, it's mainly sort of like the grey scheme, not any kind of special ones, but you know, we do have a little bit of a special one here that does have a bit of a camo on the tail section and the cool decals and stuff. So not a bad array of markings to choose from with that. So all in all, you know, this does look like a cool kit. It does look better than the Hobby Boss one. The surface detail does look a lot better. The construction is different and does look like it, I mean, fingers crossed, being a 2023 new tool build, it should go together and drop together a lot better than an older one. But I haven't built one of these yet, and I haven't seen many people build one yet, so I might have to wait for a couple of build reviews to come out on how this goes together. But for the price, you know, they've priced it quite nicely to be just that little, I think it's only like £3 more than the Hobby Boss version, so there's not much in it in price. As I said, the only thing I'm really sort of grumbling about this is, you know what, there's quite a lot of old school errors with ejector pin marks in the landing gear area and the pylon area, which is a little bit of a shame, because this kit could almost be perfect if it wasn't for that and if it goes together well. So I'm going to say yes, it is a big, nice big thumbs up. Interestingly enough, there is another new tool coming out as well. Apparently Great Wall Hobbies will be releasing sometime this year their 1 in 48 scale version of an A10 as well. So we're getting proper spoiled with A10s this year, and we'll just have to see how good the Great Wall Hobby one is. So it is kind of like one of them. I mean, we've got this, you know, the Hobby Boss, we've got the Academy version. You might want to hold out for the Great Wall Hobby one just to see which one's the best, and maybe buy whichever you want to go for. So yeah, do stay tuned, because we'll get the Great Wall Hobby one in as soon as it does come in, and do an inbox review of that as well. So as always, until next time, my name is Bob Wardrow, and this is Genesis Models, and I hope you've enjoyed.